Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So obviously I've been renovating, so the garage is still a mess, but I thought I'd do a video seeing as my van decided to break. As you can see, the garage is still in one big massive mess, so I haven't been doing a lot and I haven't got on with the LT50. I apologise to everyone who's waiting for the engine strip and all, I just haven't had time to get it done. But, needless to say, the van still decided to break, so he's out there now, and basically the electric windows have been playing up now for a few months. So basically what I've noticed is that the electric windows stopped working when the door was open, which was very suspicious for me because I was like, oh god, have I got a wiring fault or something? So they started doing that, and then after a while they stopped working completely. And then next thing I know, the electric folding mirrors, everything kind of all completely went dead in the driver's door. Nice little easy fix, guys, if this happens to you. I'll run you through it in this video. And remember, everything is down in the description, guys. So if you want to know, what I used and obviously what you need to do this repair, go down here and take a look. And also some other information about the channel. So yeah, make sure you take a look. And yeah, remember, hit the like button and subscribe and for more content like this. So yeah, let's take a look, is it?
And if you get value from this video, hit the like button and subscribe to support this channel.
Right then, so today we're going to be looking at my Transit Custom here. Now if I turn the ignition on, you'll notice that I have no electrics in this driver's door. So my power windows don't work, drivers or passengers. The electric folding mirrors don't work and nothing like that. So the central locking is working, but that's about the only thing. So we're going to go ahead and have a look at what's wrong with it. So the first thing I always do is go straight to the fuses. Now if you remove this panel by ear with the EOBD socket, there is some fuses just behind this cup holder, but the main fuses and the fuses we need for this vehicle would be up behind here. And the one we're looking for is the fourth one down, the fourth hole down on the right hand side is the fuse for the power windows. So that's the one you want to check just to make sure. So just down by there. Keep an eye on that. Now we've checked that and our power's good, so we're going to go to the next thing, which is obviously we got the switch and the motor. Now a common fault in these obviously doors, now because I've got all these different faults, I'm going to go ahead and check the wiring harness in the door. This basically is where the door pivots, so we get this kind of turning motion on the wiring harness. It kind of stress, so it is a common fault for wires, and because my mirrors have stopped working as well as my door windows, I'm going to go ahead and check this. So it's nice and easy. You just pull the rubber boot back like this, exposing all the wires. Now straight away there, now I can see there's one little wire that's all curled up and loose, so I'm going to go ahead and grab hold of that little wire and give it a pull, and you'll see that that wire is broken off. So there it is. So I've got one broken wire. That's enough for me to know I need to do a repair, so I'm going to go ahead and strip this down. Now it's a bit tight here to do a repair in place, so what I'm going to do is go ahead and remove this harness out of the door so I can get to it a bit better. So obviously push it back, like you say, there's not a lot of room, but yeah, where it is, so I'm going to go ahead and pull it into the door. Now obviously I'm going to have to remove the door card and all the door to get to it, because it comes through into here and down below where basically where the door speaker is. So yeah, let's go and remove that door card. So the first thing I'm going to do is remove the two screws in the bottom of the door. There's two tucked up under here. It's a T20 Torx you need. I've got this little socket screwdriver that come in my little Halford's Advanced set. It's handy because you can change the heads on it. So take them two screws out. The next screw we're going to be looking at then is just above these two, in that big pocket area you can see there. So we'll just get this one out. There we go. Now the next one is covered by a little cover, so I'm going to take a pick, handy little awkward pick, and just pop the cover out so you can get to the screw. You'll see the circle cover up in there, so don't worry, it's quite obvious. And then we can go ahead and take our Torx and remove that screw as well. There we go, and then we'll move further up the door. So there's another little cover here you can see just at the back, so we're going to go ahead and pop that one out and get to that screw. Now this one's got a washer on it, it's a little bit different to the rest. We're going to go ahead and remove that one. There you go. So the next thing we're going to do is the actual door handle needs to be removed. So there's a little cover here. Now it clips in the front, so we need to pop it out at the back. So if you get that pick and just give it, or take a flathead screwdriver or something and just hook it out to the back, you'll see now as I take it out, see it's got this little tab. You can see it locks in at the front. So behind that then obviously we've got another screw. So we'll go ahead and remove that screw. Now once we get that screw out, we're going to go ahead and pop this out. So I just like to pop it out from the front. So again, I use my little pick. It's not too tight. You can use a little screwdriver, but I find this thing just gets in nicely. And then we're going to unhook it. And then we're going to have to disconnect the cable. Now this is a really simple design of cable. You just got to basically, where it clips in, you'll see there's two little tabs, top and bottom. You can see it there, it hooks, you see it flexes. So we're going to lift them out. Now obviously you have to lift the bottom and top. So I'm just going to apply pressure and basically clip one side at a time until it pops out, and then basically when you want to put it back in, you just clip it in at the front and then hinge it in just like it came out. There's also obviously a electrical plug here for the central lock-in, so we'll go ahead and unplug that. Then we're going to take a switch out. Now the switch locks in the front, the window switch, and there's a little tab at the back. Again, you'll see here now, I just there, that little tab there. It just pushes in and allows for the switch to be lifted out, and you can see you've got these two lumps at the front, so don't pull it out the front, you will break them. And then I'll go ahead and unplug the two plugs that plug into that switch and tuck them inside the door. Now you'll see there is another screw here. Be careful because this one does drop down the door quite easily and get lost, so just make sure when you get to the end of the thread, just get your fingers in there and grab hold of him, and when you put him back in, be extra careful. Last but not least, this is the door handle we're going to have to remove. So this bit of trim here, it's a bit awkward, it is really tight on there, but just get behind him at the top and pop him out, and you can get your fingers behind and give him a good pull, and it's just the outer trim that comes off, so not the inner part of the handle. It's kind of in two pieces. You kind of pull this outer piece off, and then you can go ahead then and we can get a screwdriver. Now it is a bigger size, it's a T25 on these two, so make sure you change the socket or screwdriver and take these two bolts out. So you'll see there we're just taking the bottom one. When you get these out as well, you'll see that I potch around trying to get them out. Make sure you get them out and get them out the way, because I have had issues where you pop the door panel off and they go flying. So yeah, you'll see now I get them out, and then I spend a bit of time prattling about trying to get them out. They are a bit of a potch because they do like to stay in there, but just keep flicking them with the screwdriver and you will get them out. Or get a little screwdriver or pick. My pick probably would have been perfect for this, and just pulled it out. So there we go. Once we got that out, now we can go ahead and remove the door panel. So we're going to just pull the poppers. Now you've got to be a little bit firm with it. It does take a bit, so just give it a good pull. This one come off easy, but it has been off before. There's one electrical plug then that goes onto the folding mirrors and electrical mirrors. Just make sure you unplug that. It is tight, so give it a firm pull. Now the last thing is the door speaker. Now there is a ringer speaker, but we're not actually going to remove the speaker, we're going to remove the bracket behind. So unplug him first, and you'll see you've got like 4 bolts to hold the speaker on, then you've got 4 behind that actually attach a bracket to the door. So we're going to take that whole lot off in one lump to give us this big hole. And then we can go ahead and remove the plug. So this is plugged into the van. So what we're going to do now, there's a tab top and bottom. So what we're going to do, what I like to do, because it's with the boot off, there's lots of play in it. So just lift it out at the bottom and kind of pull it away, and then push the top tab and it should come out quite easily. Obviously with the boot on, it does hold it nice and firm. So once you get it out, then there's a grey and a black plug. You can see there now, top and bottom, obviously grey on the bottom, black on the top. And they've got a tab either end that hold each plug. So I'm just going to basically push them tabs in and then push the plugs out. You can just use a screwdriver if you want, but I just like to give the wires a bit of a tug and pull the plug out. So there's the black plug out the way, and next is the grey one. So again, with the last plug, you can just kind of push the tab in and give the harness a bit of a tug, and it'll just pop out, and there it is. So the next thing we're going to do now is remove the boot on the other side onto the door, so we can tuck the harness and pull it into here. And obviously we've got to remove this kind of harness. So the harness is actually secured in place inside the door with this like thing. So I just like to get like a pry bar or something firm and push it through the door just to loosen that harness up, because when we pull this harness through the door, you need that to kind of come with it. So so this boot now has got to be removed on the door, like I said. So we're going to go ahead and pop the boot off the same as we did on the other side. when we pop this boot off, then this little plastic thing kind of goes all loose and sloppy. So you can get in there and push the tabs in. There's 4 tabs, top, bottom and either side. You only need to push 2 in and it'll pop out. So kind of, again, hold pressure on it, pop 1, and then just keep holding pressure while you pop the second one and it will come out. And then we can go ahead and tuck the harness through. So obviously push the plastic thing through first, then we'll push the rubber boot through. You can stick your arm up inside now and obviously pull it through to make, if it makes life a bit easier. You'll see there I stick my arm up through that hole. That's the whole point of removing that speaker, is to give us room to get to it. And then pull the harness down, and then the plug fits perfectly through that hole. And then we can pull the harness out. So if we pull the harness down out of the door, it just gives you a bit of room, and then you'll see there now we've got plenty of room to work on it. So this is where we're going to do our repair. We're just going to take this rubber boot and slide it up the harness out the way. So push that plastic kind of clip out the way, shove the boot. You'll have to play with it a little bit to get it to shove up, because obviously rubber does stick a bit. But yeah, we can go ahead and shove that up. Now you can see straight away there's that broken wire I showed you. Now if I actually turn this over, you'll see there is a couple of damaged wires, but this one wire, this big wire, is really bad. You can see he's all frayed open and looking terrible. So I'm going to go ahead and remove this tape so I can get to it. And basically you can see this one wire is going to be my problem. You can see if I just give it a little tug, it is not, there's no wires connected at all. It's just held together with the outer coating of the wire. So that's probably going to be one of my problems. I'm going to have to get that repaired. Now there is other wires that are kind of starting to crack away, but I'm just going to repair these 2 for now. So basically, obviously where it pivots, we don't want any joiners, because we could end up with future problems, because obviously them joiners could break. So what I'm going to do now is I'm basically going to do a repair up here where the harness is straight. So I'm going to take a piece of wire, and obviously that's where the flex is. So I'm going to put a join up there, and I'm going to put a join up the harness out the way. So basically what I'll do is cut this wire back. You can see there's another crack by yours, but I'll just basically cut it just in front of that. So I'll take my side cutters and cut him off. Now obviously I did check this wire to make sure there's no broken strands or cracks. If there was, I'd have to obviously cut it further up, but we are getting very close to the plug, so I want to try and give myself a little bit of wire there to obviously play with. I'm just cleaning off all that sheathing just to make it sure my butt connector will go on there tidy. I give it a good twist so it's all together and nice and tight, and then I can go ahead and start repairing this wire. So what I used to like to use for these is I use these butt connectors. Now some people like them, some people don't. I love them. I think they're brilliant, and I actually worked for a few dealers that only use these. Now they're crimp in the center, covered by a heat shrink, and they also contain a glue, so when you heat shrink them, the glue kind of seals it up. As long as you use the right pliers and don't pierce them, then I find they're as good as any other repair. So I'm going to go ahead and crimp. Obviously, depending on what connector you've got, depends where you crimp it. So I'm going to go ahead and crimp this on here. Like you say, with these auto crimpers by ear, you just kind of squeeze them all the way down, and it puts the right tension on them, and there's no really messing about. So I always give them a bit of a tug test. It's always a good idea to make sure that it's on there nice and tight. And then I'm going to take some wire. Now I've got this 28 by 0.3 black. This is perfect for the thicker wires, and I've also got some 14 by 0.3. Now the 14.3, it's a little bit on the thicker than the wire that's in there, but it's fine. Like I say, I'd always go thicker rather than thinner. I haven't got anything thinner, so they'll be fine. But this thicker wire is just perfect. It's the exact same stuff as what was used in the original harness. So I'll go and crimp the end of the wire on. So I've obviously left it connected to the roll so I don't have no wastage. And I'm going to go ahead now and basically run it along the harness. Obviously cut my wire back, so cut that one back, which is going to be up the harness a little bit. Back here is fine, as long as we've got enough room to get in there and obviously crimp it and heat shrink it. That's all fine. And we're just going to go and splice this back so you can obviously get the wire. There we go. Again, give it another twist, and then go and stick another connector on. So again, I'm sticking on here. You can stick it on the end of the wire if it's in an awkward place, and then you only have to do one crimp in there, but this one's not too bad to get to. So I'm going to go ahead and crimp that on. And then what I'll do is I'll hold it all nice and neat together in its its position that it goes. So you'll see there, and what I'll do is give the wire. Now some people say give loads of excess wire, but the problem is then it kind of bunches up. So you want it as neat as possible. So I'm going to mark it dead center of that butt connector, and I'm probably going to give it an extra 2-3 mil just to be on the safe side. So there you go. I'll cut that off. So you can see there I'm just to the one side of it, and then I'll go ahead then and give it a splice. So you always get, you know, if you want to give it a little bit more, but don't give it too much, and don't double the wire up because it can, you know, it's got more corners that can break. So we'll go ahead and stick that into the butt connector and connect it. I will put all these connectors and all down in the description, guys, so go on there and check out all the information if you need any of it. And there he is, another pull test. And that's all done. So that's one wire repaired. And we just got the other one. You can see it's nice and snug. It still needs heat shrinking, but I'll do that after, and I'll just go and repair this little one. So you can see there now I've used smaller obviously connectors on the smaller wire. You can see my wire is a bit thicker, but it won't hurt. Now I'm going to go ahead and heat shrink them. So it's just a little blowtorch you need. You can use a lighter, but it does make a mess, and obviously it can set it on fire, which you don't want to do. This is a non-flame. You can use a soldering iron as well, with the blowtorch attachment. Once that's on, then I give it a good tape. Taped it all up nice and snug, and there it is, ready to go back in. So yeah, like I said before, it is quite simple. We're going to go ahead and refit the boot. So obviously that rubber boot can be a little bit of a pain to get up the harness, but just give it a good tug and get that shoved down. And then once we've got it all there, now we can tuck the harness back up into place. Obviously feed it back through the hole in the door, pop that through. There it is. And then we can pull that. Obviously make sure you feed that plastic ring and the whole boot and the plastic ring through the door. And there we go. That's good. And now you'll see now I'm putting the boot back onto the ring. So there's a lip that kind of hooks onto that plastic ring, and that plastic ring is meant to be kind of sunk into the boot. So what we're going to do is hook it all in all the way around. You'll see there now, once we do that, then we just clip it into the door, and that holds the boot nice and firm. Now if you clip it in, it's all loose and flopping around, so there's something wrong. So I just put that in nice. I'm going to do the same now to the socket. You can see I've already plugged the harness clip back in place on the door. I kind of did that when I had my hand up in there. So yeah, so you can see that groove all the way around. Now it's a bit confusing, but you'll see there's one thick groove all the way around. So make sure it's in that groove. And then you can go ahead and reconnect the connectors. Just push them in, and then once they're in, we can push it into the door, and it just into the chassis of the vehicle, and it just goes nice and snug. And obviously make sure if it's loose, it's not, the boot's not on right, take it back off and do it again. But yeah, that's it, simple. So I've plugged the switch back in now, just to see if my work is, well, to see if it's worked. I've also plugged the mirror switch in because obviously the folding mirrors were playing up. So once I remember which way the switch works, there we go, the mirrors go out and in. They were stuck in for ages, which was a right pain. And then we can go ahead and test the window operation. So if I just wind the window up and down, you'll see there the motor's working lovely, and also the passenger side is working as well. So yeah, great, it's all working, that's nice. So we go ahead and put the door speaker back on. Again, I fast forwarded all this, so we just plug it in, put them 4 screws back in, and then we can go ahead and put the door card on. Now obviously make sure we plug that adjustment for the mirrors on first, and then feed all the plugs into place as you're putting the card on. The one thing to watch out for is the cable for the handle. Just make sure it's not above the handle mounting bracket, if that makes sense, where the actual screw goes in. It's got to be below it to line up with the door handle. You'll see it's there in my hand. Just make sure it's down there. If it's up out the way, you're gonna have to remove the door and pull it down first, but give it a good firm pop then all the way around, and pop all them poppers into place. And there we go, the door should be nice and secure, and we can go ahead and refit all the screws. Now I have sped this up a little bit, guys, just to make it a bit easier watching. So obviously screw in the top first, then we've got the 2 screws in the door handle. There next, once them 2 are in, then we're going to go ahead and reassemble all the door the opening mechanism and the switch. So plug that in and then clip it all into place, and then put that screw in. And like you say, you just do this in reverse to obviously how you took it off. So yeah, it's pretty simple, guys. I'm sure you'll manage it. And yeah, I hope this helps you guys with your problems with your vans or vehicles or whatever. And yeah, like you say, any questions, put it down in, obviously make sure you put a comment. Let me know if this was your problem. Let me know if this helped. Like I say, I always try to listen to what people's problems are and what they have. And yeah, if I can help, I will. So yeah, there I am, just checking it all works. You know, there's nothing worse than putting it back together and it not working. So as you can see, it's all still operating. And yeah, that's it, guys. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I hope this video helps.
And if you get value from this video, hit the like button and subscribe to support this channel.